Welcome to Love You Bro podcast. Man, so much has gone on in the last few weeks, but I am your host, Jude Davella. This is my baby bro, Jamie.
What it do?
Yeah, bro, what it is, man. It's good to see you. Good to be back on here. We both had a little hiatus for a minute. Just took a break for a week. We had a lot going on, man. Your brother got married, man.
Yep.
Finally married the love of my life over there, who I talk about all the time on the show. So thank you for everything. That was awesome.
Love you, Jessica Davella.
Such a beautiful night. So blessed to do that. We had our wedding here a couple of Fridays ago, and family was there, and it was a beautiful, perfect night. So that was awesome. On a more of a sad note, our Royals got conquered by the evil empire.
Yeah.
So
before we get into that, though,
yeah.
Taylor Triano and Common Wild Flag Company just dropped this banger of it's absolutely dope. Taylor Triano, she does amazing things. If you're not, go see Common Wild or Instagram. She's an absolute witch on many levels, but it's so cool, and we're stoked to have it. I think it's awesome.
For sure. Taylor, go check out it's Common Wild Flag,
yep.
Common Wild Flag Company. So yeah, go check her out. Taylor Triano.
Things.
Go check her Instagram out, you guys. We had talked to her here a while back, and we kind of talked about what we wanted to do, and she was like, showing us some of the stuff, and you were like, okay, man, let's put some colors and stuff together. And what she came down to the set one time, looked at it, and I was like, she's like, what are we gonna do here? And I said, just you run with your stuff, and as you guys can see, she killed it, man. So
yeah, not only is she a dear friend, but she is extremely talented, and there's no one doing what she's doing in the game. She's crushing it right now.
Taylor, thank you.
Love you, Taylor.
Thank you from Love You Bro, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Taylor, and thank you for our flag. Another piece of our set here at Lula Southern Cookhouse.
100%.
So let's dive into, like I said, kind of a bummer of a note. Having the Royals lose out, to the Yankees. In the beginning of that series started, and you and I obviously talked during the game and stuff. And you brought up right off the bat, you were saying you were like losing that first one because you were really pissed. Like the next morning I talked to you, you were really pissed off about that first loss to the Yankees, and you go, letting that one slip away could cost us a series, and I think it did.
Yeah, when you're playing against the Yankees and the evil empire, if you will, they're so freaking good.
Right.
They have two of the best players in baseball, and Soto and Judge, and the fact that we got to Cole, and Cole hadn't been Cole, but we got to him kind of early. We're kind of hitting some balls hard. Right. But in the first inning, Judge makes, and people's like, Judge is just one-dimensional. He just hits home runs.
Ooh.
That dude chased one down in left center, I want to say, or maybe it's right center. I'm not sure. I can't recall. But it's a big-time play that Witt's sitting on third if he doesn't make that play.
Yeah.
So, and just kind of – and then, everyone will talk about, the Chaz. And I don't know. It's crazy to me. Baseball's got some weird shit. That's not why they lost, because there's other plays that could have been made, and we could have done some other things. But he was clearly out.
Oh, for sure.
That. He was clearly out. And I loved, what Massey said the post game. He's like, I don't know why we do these if there's a clear gap. Ron Darling, Costas are saying, and Costas is the biggest Yankee guy. He was pissed every time we made a play, and we made a play against them. Or like he was so disappointed. And a lot of national pundits, fans were like, it's bullshit. It really is. And I love Costas because I grew up on Bob Costas.
Right.
And it was
we grew up on Bob Costas.
And him and Al Michaels are two of the biggest goats in the history of sports. But Costas was baseball. He was October baseball when the weather dropped and clothes, you started to wear your sweatshirts and sweaters. It was playoff baseball. So that was the thing. But they were even saying he was out. So that didn't turn it, but they let game one slip away. And then you look at coming game two, game two we won. Right. We still walked.
Let's go back to game one. Let's stay on game one just for a minute. There was the play that the play that they called him. That people were saying he was out because you could see the daylight in between when he got tagged and when there was daylight on there. But to me, though, the most disappointing about one, though, bro, was the fact that we let three different leads slip away. Like our bullpen was money in September and the beginning of October. So I thought, man, if our bullpen throws like this, but our bullpens will let us down.
Well, no, and so once again, it's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up because I was one that thought they got Waka too early. I was like, I'm like, you're putting a tremendous amount of stress on your bullpen trying to get Zerpa repeat what he did in the closeout game 3. That's just a lot. That's a lot of shit that has to go right for you. I would have let walk in, and you can play, armchair or whatever you want to call it, manager, bullpen coach. But to me, and I will stick by that, they should have let Waka go, but they didn't. And then the bullpen and once again, we were in text thread with, our nephew, cousins, and sometimes the lights just shine a little brighter in Gotham. Man. I mean, they do. And there's,
that's a big stage, man. That's a big stage going from being at Kauffman Stadium and there's,
and going to Baltimore, which they didn't even sell out those first 3 games. And that's another thing about baseball and how poorly it's run. It really is. It's sad because, it's just really poorly run. For instance, having 3 games you have to play on the road. If you're going to do it, do 1-1-1. They had the time. They spaced out games. Sure. You had 2 games. If you make the playoffs, I don't care if you squeeze in, back in. I mean, look at the run the Mets went on. Right. You should at least award them with 1 home game. Right. So, and we talked about this. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing until early on. Not early on, but late into, almost the playoffs began. I'm like, that's kind of bullshit as far as I'm concerned. But the Yankees were the Yankees, and our nephew was like, I told him, it's like, you guys beat us in every single phase. We were supposed to be better in starting pitching. They outpitched us. They were supposed to be we were supposed to be better defensively. They played better defense, and they were supposed to relief pitching, and their relief pitchers. I remember our buddy Kerry texted me during. He's like, "Why are they bringing in Holmes, the closer?" And I'm like, "He's not." But Holmes was lights out, and everything they did in the bullpen, and the Luke Weaver kid who was with us. Yeah, we had Weaver. Weaver was on our roster, and he was obviously he wasn't. They couldn't figure him out, but the Yankees did, and Weaver didn't take over till until September as the closer. So. Right. But so then it was all close games, and then the one it was game 4, I believe here. I'm just pissed that we lost 3 and 4 at home, man. I really thought we were going to win at least one. So excuse me, it was game 3 when they walked 9 dudes. And one of them, Ursig, and I give him the pass because he went and struck out. He's so fucking filthy, dude. Ursig he's nasty. And we have him under contract for another couple of years. Yes. But he struck out. He gave up the leadoff walk, but then he struck out. He struck out Soto, who he's going to get $600 million, and he should. That guy is a monster. He's a monster. And Judge. But don't you feel like the Yankees though? I feel like. Those first couple games, the Royals could have got those first 2 games in New York. I think we had a chance. But I think when they came here and it was 1-1, I feel like that was when the Yankees they turned it up a notch because they started pouring some runs on in game 4 when they took it from us. I felt like they kind of turned it up a little bit, and from there they got hot from there. First couple games, Judge didn't do anything against us. I don't even think offense was turned on. it was all of them were 2-run or less games of losing. Right. But what I'm saying is they knew Stanton came out of a shell. They knew and he was the ALC MVP, but he didn't get started to going against us. But there was a big difference. There was a big difference with a Vinny with a bad thumb and everyone, and Witt didn't have he had a great Baltimore because he had 2 of the RBS, but of those guys pressing and Salvi chasing, and you look at, once again, I've gone back personally and watched they put together big league professional at bats in big time environment, took pitches. I don't care if it was barely off of the strike zone. Right. The umpires appreciate that, and they know these guys aren't swinging at bullshit. Right. So it was just it was a thing but that was the one, game 3 when they walk 9 and people are like, oh, only 1 scored. Well, only 1 scored, yes, but the one Stanton hits in the 7th, it ties the game. Of course, it ties the game. Yeah. So that was a big one to me that I'm like, that just sucks. You can't do that. There's right now you could go to fall ball 3-2, field 9, and they're not walking 9 dudes. No, dude, it was 17 in 2 games. Yeah, I pitched ever since the 3rd grade. Is like I don't care what level I was in. Our coaches were like, man, just throw the ball over the plate, just throw strikes and let the defense do what they're going to do. But you can't walk 17 dudes in 2 games and expect that some of those guys aren't going to score. No. So, with that being said, they lost. I think I know everyone's like, fuck the Yankees, fuck the Dodgers, but it's going to be the best World Series that's probably been played. And I don't know.
Best World Series money can buy.
That, yes,
dude, those rosters are huge, man.
Absolutely.
Those rosters are huge.
But you also have to perform, and those guys have performed. And that Cleveland series, Cleveland fought, and that game was at 5 when it went to when Noel comes off the bench. So when I saw them bring in, it was game 4. So when I saw him bring in, Weaver, I'm like, okay, this, he's going to shut it down. And
it was game 3, right? Because they were up 2-0.
Game 4.
Yeah,
it was game 4.
I thought it was game 3 there because they were going to go up 3-0, nope. and then that was they won that game.
No, it was game 4. It was game 4, and when.
So what was the series at that point? I thought they were getting ready to go up 3-0. The Yankees were when that happened. When he hit that home run.
So Cleveland won game 3 though. Or did they not?
No,
regardless.
Yeah.
But that was one of the most exciting games
for
that
sure,
I can sit back
man.
and be like, holy shit. Because when Stanton comes, or Judge hits one, he hits a 2-run shot, and then Stanton hits that one to center. It's like, holy shit. Yeah, and when Judge started going, I'm like, okay, good luck for the rest of MLB if whoever they play, if Judge is doing this now.
Right. Because you remember they were down 5-3, and then one of the guys, was 2 outs, somebody singled up the middle, got on base, and then they brought the Noah kid off the bench. I mean, first pitch.
Noel. He looked like Pedro Serrano.
Oh, man. Dude, listen,
and then he threw that. He fucking threw that back.
He threw that changeup. Weaver threw that changeup.
Yeah.
That first changeup he threw, it just came in there and hung up there. He was like, "You got to be kidding me, man! He hit that thing a mile, bro."
So that was incredible. To win it. I mean, that was awesome. And then, but I'll tell you what, in that, and we'll circle back for the Royals real quick and talk about some highlights of next year, what we can look forward to. But one of the best at bats I've seen as an adult was the Soto against Gaddis, where Gaddis was battling, and Soto literally looks at him and shakes his head like, "I'm on you. Like, right. I'm on you. Right. I appreciate your challenge, and I'm on you." Right. And then hits that home run. It's been since 2009.
Yeah.
But the Yankees have been in it. So
I looked at that bat that Soto had against Gaddis. And, back when I was playing at Johnson County Community College, we had a kid in our lineup. His name was Scott Hennessy. And Hennessy was leading the country in hitting. He was going against another kid from Coffeyville. I mean, bro, they were in that 488, 492, 503, like going down the last few weeks of the season. But Hennessy's we're playing Allen County, and they had this closer they brought in that was just throwing BBs. I mean, he was 97, 96, 98, and him and Hennessy just went. I mean, it was 1-2, 2-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and Hennessy just kept fouling, and the dude would throw slider, curve, change. Finally, it was like the dude just kind of looked. It was almost like he looked at Hennessy like, "All right, bro, I'm either throwing this gas by you," and I'll never forget Hennessy turning, and when he hit that thing, it was like, bing, and when you heard it, I mean, everybody looked. I swear to you, that thing about 2-hopped onto College Boulevard there at JUCO. But it just reminded me, like, the way him and Soto were going. They were going, and finally Gas was like, "Here it is, bro. I'm throwing this thing as hard as I can throw it." And Soto's like, "Well, and took that thing." It was cool. That was really cool.
So back to the Royals, like, they have some things that they can be excited about. I mean, everyone in our division is getting better.
For sure.
So they're, the big thing for me is Waka is due. He's getting $16 million, but he's got a player option, right. And there's going to be guys that throw a bunch of money at him. Yep. So it's just a bunch of money at him. It's just going to be a thing if him and his family, his wife's from St. Louis, right. Feels comfortable here. He loves the pitching coach. They got some things to be excited about here. If he resigns, if not, that's a big hole to fill, right. and they'll have to be active. Right. And I get it. And I understand, and you're not going to be in the sweepstakes for a Soto,
right?
And they spent money this offseason, right. But to continue to compete or be relevant, they've got to be active in the free agent market, right. And they got to go get guys on that low end. Maybe there's a pit there, and I was looking through it the other night. There's a bunch of pitchers that you could sign a 1-year deal that maybe didn't have great years this year. Right. That could be eligible next year. That could bring in, but they need to bring in a big, not a big, but a bat. There's guys out there. Santander would be awesome. He's going to cost you money, but if this ownership and people that it's the right ownership group if they want to do it. If they want to get a downtown stadium built and they want to get fans out there, because you look at attendance this year, it wasn't great, but nobody was going to go out there when you lost 100 games last year and you lost 100 games the year before.
Yeah,
so prove it first, because that's a lot of money. And the fact that they charge $20 for parking, it's hard for families to go out there.
But it goes back to a thing we've always known from being these fans, and we've always gone to Chiefs games and KU games and Royals games and stuff. Everybody used to always bitch and say, well, Kansas City doesn't support the Royals. Well, as soon as they start winning, those 2 playoff games, you couldn't find a ticket to that playoff game.
Well, those were big boys, and it was obviously the Yankees.
Yeah, both of the playoff games are sold out there, man. There's 40,000 people out there.
Yeah,
both nights, which was awesome to see. Awesome to see that stadium like that. I wish Bobby Witt would have played a little bit better in game 3 and 4, because I just felt like he was pressing so much. Man.
Oh yeah,
he was pressing so much.
So when you look at the Royals lineup, it's like Thom. I wouldn't mind them re-signing him and being a platoon outfielder, but they got to go someone that's an everyday, either right fielder or left fielder. Yeah. Melendez, he's kind of run his course with me. He had a big home run. He had a big home run in New York, and I called that.
Man. You called that big home run.
I was like, I think he's going to hit one. I was like, so they need to go get someone out there, and they need to find someone to come in. If Walker leaves, which, if you're talking 16 million or 24 million, no one's going to be like, I love Kansas City that much, I'm not going to go play for 24 million somewhere else. Someone's willing to pay him. So it'll be a really interesting off season. Obviously, a lot more people will be engaged.
It'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see what the Royals do this offseason. The stuff I've seen though on Digging Deep with, like I said, and shout out again, man, to what Hosmer and Mustakas and stuff are doing over there, that Digging Deep podcast. But listen to them, man. They love this ownership group. Haas came back and threw one of the first pitch out on game 3 when New York was here.
Our boy Lo Kane. Shout out Lo Kane.
Yeah, Lo Kane, all those guys.
He was in the building.
Being in the building, man, was super cool for those guys. But Mustakas and Haas are saying this ownership group has the right mentality, that they're going to go spend some money in the offseason. But it's just hard to match up when you're talking about, we got a guy at Isbell, he can go and get a ball, but the guy can't, he just had
no, and they spent money last year, and they're not going to do it every single year. You can't, especially if you're not getting. And right now, what is and it's just baseball again. It's fucking crazy. Bally's is bankrupt, and that's who pays the Royals. So essentially, MLB is taking over that, and MLB will decide where their games are going to go, and it's going to be for a few years because there's all this contract stuff going on and like that. But the fact that your TV network is belly up and bankrupt, so they're not going to see that money.
Sense,
so it's a crazy thing, and in baseball, once again, if you look at every, and this will get high ratings because it's the Dodgers, it's the Yankees, but every year the World Series is the lowest rating, and people hate the NBA, but it's the lowest rated finals, World Series. It's just tough because there's not revenue sharing. So if you're a small market person, small market fan, you may get it one every 10 years, what the Royals have done. But you're never going to be there consistently, no matter what you do. Because if you're the Yankees, you're the Dodgers, you can go make mistakes 90% of franchises can't afford to make, with who you go and sign. And so the Yankees,
it's tough. It's tough for us to go. It's tough for us to go and measure up. Like I said, when we got Isbell and Melendez in the outfield, and the Yankees are throwing Judge and Soto at you. It's crazy.
But in the Yankees defense, you go around. Judge that kid was there. He was there in their farm system. Judge was in the farm system.
Soto's a free agent. Rizzo's a free agent.
Volpe, he was in their franchise. He was in the franchise. The kid behind the dish was in their franchise. Some of their pitchers, the kid Hill, the big Dominican kid, he was in their. They've gotten free agents, and they've been able to outbid. But for what the Yankees gave up to Chaz was here. And that guy...
Chaz could have been a Royal, man. I thought the Royals
and that dude, what is crazy to me, you're a baseball guy, you grew up played some small college ball. That guy never played third base before he played with the Yankees. And that dude looked like he'd been in.
Yeah, but he runs his mouth a little bit too much for me, man. I don't think. I mean, he was hot early. He was hot early in the year, but when he got first in the trade,
he plays with the swag. But I like it. And once again, if he's on your team and he runs his mouth, big thing back in 15, people said the Royals had a chip and they ran their mouths and they played with a. I
don't think they ran. They had a chip and they had fun. People didn't like to see them have fun because they had fun like a college team. They loved playing with each other. So the Royals to me reminded me of like when I go to the World Series and see teams like like Tennessee this year. Those kids love to play and they're all out on the field and guys are making plays. That's what people didn't like because they were like they didn't like the Royals because like who are these young kids acting like they're in college but winning the World Series? I think there's a difference between that and the way that Chaz and some of those dudes acted. And it's tough, man, because we've always, it's weird because you've been a huge Lakers fan forever. And I like the Lakers, I'll watch them, but not like you watch them.
Yeah.
And then in baseball, besides our Royals, we kind of always rooted for the Yankees. And I got my Yankees hats and I have my jerseys and sweatshirts.
I just hate Boston. I hate the Red Sox.
But I was always a huge Andy Pettitte fan, always a huge Derek Jeter fan, and Mariano Rivera. Clemens, yeah, but Rivera and Pettitte and Jeter were my guys. So it's like it's hard for me right now because I don't want to root for the Yankees, but I hate the Dodgers. I've always hated the Dodgers.
Dodgers, man.
I know. So it's like
Chavez Ravine's a dump.
I know. So I want to root for New York. I want to root for New York, but I'm still so pissed about just some of their arrogance and stuff in our stadium. So I'm a little bitter, but I definitely will be tuned in. And
to pitch. Even though I wasn't actively rooting, and we joked, we were like, "Fuck New York" when they lost, but I had some people that were like, "Oh, you don't want Cleveland," and I am a guy that will never ever root for a team within my fucking division to do anything we're not doing. Like if the Royals aren't winning, I don't want Cleveland to win. Yeah. I just won't be that guy. Like it's just I will never be like, oh yeah, I want the Indians. I'm like, why? I mean, I'm not a Yankees guy, but the Yankees got the biggest payroll and they got superstars. And it's like I'm not rooting for them, but I don't want to see Cleveland go get a World Series before we do. I mean, it's kind of thing. So it'll be to me, it'll be an awesome World Series. I'll watch all the games.
You got
I'll be stoked
the
to watch
superstars matched up. Starts on Friday.
Brooklyn Dodgers. Dodgers, New York Yankees. Yeah. It's the Dodgers are favored to win. But I mean, you talk about superstars. You talk about Soto, Judge, Betts. And how stupid does Boston look getting rid of Bet? I mean, trading that Betts. And then Ohtani, who is like that guy. You know what's crazy is maybe 3/4 of the way through the year, or it's coming down the end of the season. I'm like, did I read that right? He might be a 50-50 guy. That dude fucking stole 50 bases.
50 home runs, 50 bases. Yeah.
That's insane.
Never been done before.
And you see him at the plate, and he looks like an absolute giant.
Yeah.
And and when the guys are usually that big, they can usually hit fastball, something inside, but that dude has no holes in his swing.
No,
I mean,
man, you see people get Ohtani out. Like even we're PS5 players. Even when you play when you're playing PS5 and you're playing the Dodgers, dude, I don't care what you throw. That dude hits the ball hard somewhere. It's
crazy. It's gonna be it'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be a fun series, man. We'll see what happens with that. But let's dive into. And the next thing, man, is obviously talking about our Chiefs right now, man. And yesterday was an awesome win. So we're gonna dive into some of that. But man, how about the dude we're gonna bring on the show tonight, though?
Oh man, B-Dot.
Yeah,
my guy.
B-Flow, man. B-Flow is a good friend of ours. Someone I had a chance to work with for several years when he was here in Kansas City. Spent some time in San Diego, but Flo's back in his hometown in Delray Beach. B-Flow's gonna call on the show tonight, so we're gonna bring him
I can't wait, man. I got some stuff, and I had this Tommy O'Donnell creative printing.
Yeah, made me specialized printing. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's him on it. Yeah. And we'll get Carr on sometime. We'll get B-Carr on.
Is he with Carr in that picture? Yeah, we'll get B-Carr. I've talked to B-Carr. He's doing big things down in Texas right now in Dallas. Has a facility called Iron Horse where he starts training kids early, and he's got his football program and stuff down there. And I'm telling you, man, I've seen some of the videos and stuff, and it is no joke, man.
Did I read this correct? Is Flo cousins with Surtain? Are they cousins?
No, I don't think so. No,
Okay.
I don't think so. No, I don't think they're any relation at all. But all those guys came out of the Florida area. When I was working for, I did a little bit of work for Pat Surtain back in the day.
Sure.
And then even Ty Law, when Ty came here, you remember we did a little bit of work for Ty.
I remember drinking Louis the 18 with Ty's mama.
Yeah, when we were doing his move, man. Yeah. But shout out to Ty Law, man. Everything he did when he was in the NFL. Ty was a great dude.
One
man.
of the top
but
10.
Remember, Ty and Surtain. They live down in the Plantation, Florida area. But B-Flow from Delray Beach.
Can't wait to have them all, man.
Yeah, man. Brandon,
great dude.
Tonight,
and you know what? He was one of the most unheralded, underrated D-backs, and we've had some bad dudes in our secondary. Yeah. And when you go back and think about it, and we'll kind of talk to him, there was a point that it was him, Surtain, DJ, Tamba Hali. I mean, they had some guys.
Yeah, but Carr came in with him. B. Carr came in same year. Him and Carr got drafted same year.
But the first year, I don't know if Carr started. I don't know if B. Carr started, but Surtain was on the opposite side of him.
Right.
On his story. And he had, he was coming off, I think, an All-American season. I think he was, he had 2 huge years, but he was a high draft pick, and he was one of the highest dudes from Virginia Tech drafted, because we took him the second.
He was round, I think 35th pick overall.
He was the highest pick from Virginia Tech since D'Angelo Hall.
D'Angelo Hall, right?
Yeah, who D'Angelo Hall was a dog, had a long career.
I'm excited to bring on B-Flow, man, because I'm telling you, watching that dude play, bro. And another one of those things reminded me a lot of like a Tyrann Mathieu, even though Tyron's a safety, was, B-Flow, that guy, not a very big dude, but that dude took on all comers, bro. Offensive linemen, tight ends. I mean, he would get up, he'd get up on you, get up in you, and Flow, man, he was a hitter, dude. Obviously, two of my favorite cornerbacks ever to come out of Kansas City, Kevin Ross and Brandon Flowers. Yeah. I can't wait to talk to B-Flow, so we're going to get excited about bringing him on and
talking
to him, man. And then we'll just dive into the rest of this Chiefs stuff, man. 6-0.
There's a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Discuss. But
I hate to keep seeing these injuries and stuff that keep popping up, man. I mean, Jalen Watson goes down yesterday. I don't know the final results.
He's done. They said it's a broken ankle. Yeah, it's a broken ankle.
I thought it said like 6 to 8 weeks, right? 6 to 8 weeks?
No, he's not coming. I don't think he's coming back. But
we'll
talk about that. But let's get ready for B-Flow.
Yeah.
B-Dot.
Let's go. 3, 2. Here at Love You Bro Podcast, we'd like to give a special thanks and a special shout out to our sponsors. Without our sponsors, we're not able to do what we want to do, and that's be able to come on every week and talk about sports, drink a few beers, have some great guests on, some great co-hosts. So I want to give a shout out and a thanks to our sponsors, and our main sponsor that is sponsoring us this year is Proactive Solutions. So we'd like to thank Proactive Solutions. Proactive Solutions has been delivering infrastructure solutions and IT design and consultation services to clients ranging from startups, Fortune 500 companies for more than 27 years. They're proud to be a Kansas City locally owned and a top woman-owned business, offering custom solutions and personalized support. You can trust Proactive Solutions with all your technology needs. If your company needs IT solutions, reach out to Proactive Solutions at www.proactivesolutions.com. So shout out to Natalie and Dean Thede. Thank you guys for allowing us to be able to do this every week. We're super excited about that. I want to give a special shout out to Specialized Printing. My bonus son, Tommy O'Donnell, does awesome work over there. They do T-shirts, they do koozies, they do hats. And one of the big things is, like, some of our friends and family that we've been seeing around have been asking us about when's the merch dropping. So merch is coming, soon. Please follow us on our podcast. We're going to be dropping some trucker hats, all different colors. For our college kids, I know we're going to come out with some K-State hats, some Mizzou hats, and some, of course, our Kansas Jayhawk hats. So we'll have some really cool Love You Brew. We do love the brew, don't we? Love You Bro merchandise. So Tommy will be doing all that. Check out Specialized Printing and everything he does over there. Another shout out goes to Lula Southern Cookhouse, Brittany and Bradley Gilmore. Thank you guys for allowing us to shoot in this super cool space. Everybody who's come on and shot an episode with us up here really loves the space. It's a great event space. Stay tuned, because we are getting married here coming up soon. My lovely fiance over there and myself, and you never know if we might just throw some pop-up party here, maybe, babe, here in the event space. Maybe. Okay. All right. We're not going to talk about that. So Lula, thank you. Brittany and Bradley Gilmore, thank you guys for allowing us to do this up here. Our two sponsors for tonight's episode, and bringing on a special friend of ours, Tom Buchanan, the Wolf of Waldo. A special shout out goes to Bobby Baker's Lounge. Bobby Baker's Lounge was started in 1993 by Bobby Baker, good friend of ours. It was started off by Bobby Baker himself with a long history of family in the business. His father, John Baker, helped him find his path as a bar owner. In 2013, his daughter, Becky, purchased from him as he retired into the Golden Sunset. The 900 square foot dive bar has become a staple in Waldo since the day it opened. Says right here, Bobby Baker's is huge supporters of all firefighters and police officers. So Bobby Baker's wants to give a big shout out to all firefighters and police officers and say thank you. We appreciate everything you guys do day in and day out to keep us safe in the community. Becky, thank you so much for being a sponsor. Again, without our sponsors, we don't get to do what we want to do the most, and that's bring Love You Bro podcast to you. Our other great sponsor today is our good friend Brian Shorgle, one of Tom Buchanan's best friends. Shout out to Brian. You've always been great and by our side, Jamie and I, to, support whenever we've asked, whenever we needed. So O'Neill's, it's a neighborhood restaurant and bar located at 9417 Mission Road. O'Neill's was incorporated in 1999. And has been serving up comfort food classics like Irish pot roast, in-house breaded fish and chips, homemade soups, and many other classics that make O'Neill's a local favorite. I know Shorgle's throwing some great parties over there. I know Tom frequents it. Jessica and I go there. Back in the day, I know we used to take my mom and dad over there for steak night over there. Starting in October, O'Neill's will be kicking off its 25-year anniversary celebration with special promotions and events that will last through March. They can be found on the internet at kconeils.com. So for more details, go there. And as Brian always says, go Chiefs, go Royals, go Tigers, go Hawks, go K-State Wildcats. So Brian Shorgle, O'Neill's, thank you so much for being a sponsor tonight. We really appreciate it. Becky, thank you so much for the sponsorship from Bobby Baker's. You guys get out to O'Neill's, get out to Bobby Baker's. Without places like this, you guys, we can't do what we do. So again, thank you for following us on Love You Bro podcast. And please tune in and follow us on all of our social media outlets. So thank you so much to our sponsors for helping us bring it to you every week. Hey guys, welcome back to Love You Bro podcast, the second part of our show. As Jamie and I talked a little bit earlier, we're bringing a special guest onto our show, man. He was a client at one time, a good friend, and we stay now, family now, but we want to welcome Brandon Flowers onto our Love You Bro podcast tonight.
What's good, B-Dog?
Thanks for having me. What's going on, fellas?
Brandon, thank you so much for coming on, bro. Like we talked a little bit earlier. Part of us wanting to do our podcast, I talked to Derek a while back, and he said, man, with all the 22 years you have of guys you've worked with, you got so many guys with stories and stuff throughout the NFL and all the things that have changed. He said, man, you really should start this. And Jamie and I talked about it. So having guys like you on here to be able to bring on our show means a lot to us. So thank you for coming on tonight, bro.
Nah, for sure. Like I mentioned before, you found, man. So anytime you need me, I'd love to come on, and whatever you got going, I'm supporting for sure.
Man, I appreciate it, 2-4. So listen, we're gonna dive right back into 08 when you got drafted here to Kansas City. Jamie and I, growing up Chiefs fans, and then we started working the business a little bit. We kind of compared you to a guy that we loved back in the day, Kevin Ross. Because the Rock could hit, man. And we first saw you at Virginia Tech because we were KU guys. So we saw you at Virginia Tech during those days. So when you got drafted here, we was like, man, all right, man, let's we're excited to see this guy play. Tell us a little bit about what it was like when you came out of Virginia Tech and what it was like coming to Kansas City at that time.
So I was blessed, man, because Virginia Tech have one of the livest stadiums, like the loudest stadiums in college football. Like Into the Sandman, like to this day is talked about, even if Virginia Tech isn't winning too much. I mean, that's just a thing, right? Yeah. Whereas like Virginia Tech, everybody comes to, see the defense play. You can't hear nothing on first down. So for the fact that I came to Kansas City and it was like even louder, man, that was just insane. But to take it back a little bit, man, I had a unique experience coming to Kansas City because when I was in high school down in South Florida, Patrick Surtain was playing with the Dolphins at the time.
Right.
and my first cousin was dating his brother.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So she used to always, and Pat was staying with his brother at the time. So my cousin used to always tell us like, yo, Pat Surtain played for the Dolphins. And she was like, his brother, which is her husband now,
Right.
Was always like, hey, you want to come stay at the house, meet Pat, come to the games? I'm like, yeah, like Pat, my guy. Like he playing for the Dolphins.
Yeah,
he played cornerback, same position as I.
Right.
Like, I'm like, let's go. So I built up a relationship with Pat in high school. He used to give me cleats because we had the same colors as the Dolphins. And fast forward, man, like 4 or 5 years later, he was the starting cornerback on one side of the field when I got drafted at Kansas City, and I was on the other. So when I came to KC, he took me under his wing on the field, and you kind of like took me under your wing off the field with everything I needed. So, man, it was like a perfect match going from like the livest stadiums, having some familiar face in the locker room, and then having somebody like you know, off the field. So I couldn't ask for a better situation.
Well, Brad, like I said, I appreciate it, man. It was, Jamie and I were just talking about that earlier because I said B-Flow and I said Brandon Carr, they both came in the same year. And Jamie was like, yeah, but do you remember? He said Pat Surtain was starting on one side and then B-Flow was starting on the other side.
Hey, and B-Flow, check my shirt out. I had a shirt made for my dude, Tommy O. That's you and B Carr celebrating after a big play.
Yes, sir. That's hard. That's my brother.
Yeah. Hey. So something, Pat, I want to say is from 2008 to 2013, there was two D-backs that had more than 90 passes defended, more than 15 interceptions, and more 10 tackles for losses, and you was one of them. You was a dog. And that was a complete game. And I mean, that says a lot about who you are and who you came in, how you came into the league, and you made a Pro Bowl. You came off an All-American campaign, Valtech. And to speak on Valtech real quick, all these younger generations that are, they're back into college football, the game on EA Sports. And that's one of the biggest things that they talk about is that, that inner Sandman when you guys are coming out of the tunnel. And a lot of people say Arrowhead is the closest environment to a college environment. So when you were sitting there on the sideline, they're like, and the home of that lit you up, right? You were like, man, it hits hard, right?
Yeah, so the first time, I didn't even know Kansas City did that until my first preseason game. And then when they did it, I looked around like, what's that? I'm like, okay, let's go. Yeah. So from that first time where I heard it, I was just like, man, this is where it's at. And it's just not even in the stadium. I mean, how everybody dressed in red on Fridays. I mean, my neighbors was so cool where they used to, their kids used to say good luck in like chalk on my patio in my driveway or like before the game. It was just cool, man. Like Kansas City is a unique experience. And I love the way they're winning Super Bowls right now because I feel like the fans deserve it. The organization deserve it because it's the first class organization. If you ask anybody in the league. So like, I just love what's going on right now.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Brandon, it's exciting. Like I said, our family's been around the Chiefs since 1965 when our dad started our season tickets. So me being blessed the last 22 years to work around guys, what's made it special for me is the relationships I built with guys like you, guys like Derek Johnson, guys like Jamal Charles, Brandon Carr. Those are the things that mean the most to me, Brandon, because like you said, I can call you and reach out and say, hey, we're doing this or we're doing this, or hey, can you come on a podcast? And it's nothing but love from you guys. So that's always just meant the world to me, man. You guys always supporting what I've done. And like I said, working with guys like you made it easy to want to be around and be there for you guys.
Yeah, it was, I think, just a perfect match because when you're coming into a new city, you don't know who to trust, right? And one thing that we can say about you was always a man of your word. You always gave it to us straight. And you just got like a genuine spirit about you where it's like, yo, we know what we're getting with you. And it's just not us. You took it a step further. If our families was in need of anything, I feel comfortable. Like if I'm in practice, I know my mom can say, hey, Jude, I need, or do you know what to do with, we knew our families was taken care of if we was busy. So it's not just us, my parents still ask about you to this day. Like, how Jude doing, man? So that's the unique, I think, friendship. And I take it past friendship. We're a family for real. So that's why I say, we're not even friends. We're family. That's what we got going for sure.
Hey, B, I remember kicking it up with Pops in the parking lot before the game.
Yeah, man, Pops a legend, man. Like Pops, I'm telling you, if you stop him for 2 seconds, he gonna talk to you for like 30 minutes. Man. That's him. He loves people. He's a genuine guy. He loves to talk. He loves everything about everyone. So I'm pretty sure y'all had some good combos.
Oh, yeah, we had some good combos for sure. Tell moms, pops what's up, man. Tell them what's good.
Man, the crazy thing is, I remember playing in Oakland, and it was a game where like our defensive backs had like 6 picks. And I'm like, Pops, man, you got to stop wearing my jersey in the middle of Oakland, because he used to get the away game tickets in the middle of Oakland. I'm like, listen, man, what we going to do? But the security, Kansas City football team security always look out for him. And then I look up in the stands, the Raiders fans giving me a thumbs up, got their hands around Pops. I'm like, Pops, what you doing? Like, you even want Raiders fans over? Like, what's going on up here?
Hey, so and Flo. So my favorite play was on Halloween. And it was in the black hole. And when you took that pick 6 back and you did that flex with your foot on the football. And so I was going to have that shirt made, but I'm like, man, my daughters can see them all them birds getting flipped up at you.
I have it in my memorabilia room, man. I got to show y'all my memorabilia room. I'll probably just take the computer over there, but I got it big in my memorabilia room right now. Man, we gotta sign a petition to get that in a stadium, man. That needs to be in a stadium somewhere. I understand that it got some graphic fingers in there, but hey, that's the battlegrounds. Kids gotta understand. You walk into a football stadium, you might see some things.
So, did you know you were gonna do that flex? Was that pre-planned when you were like, hey, I'm gonna get me one today?
You know what? So when you're a defensive back, right, and you have great coaches, you know that you can get an interception, make a play like in the midst of the moment, right? You're just in great coverage, it's just reaction time, and you get a pick. But you always take 2 to 3 plays into every game, and you're like, if I get this formation or this motion, they running this route, and I'm gonna take this to the crib. It was one of those plays right there. As soon as I seen him in I formation, I was like, if he do a quick 3-step, I'm gonna stunt in this end zone today. As soon as that back foot planted and I seen his arm raised, I'm like, oh, here we go. So I seen it the night before. That's all I was thinking about. If he run this route and this motion and I get this backfield setting, hey, I'm ready to go with it. So it's definitely
Flo, listen, you know I got that poster signed by you. It's in my man cave too.
Yes, sir.
When Jessica and I first moved in together, I started putting some stuff up. It was one of the first things I brought downstairs. She still stops and looks at it, and she just goes, man, Flo he was on his flexing right in front of that.
Cleat on the football too.
Yeah. I had to take that flag. We was up. It was fourth quarter. Like, I don't care. I'm taking that flag. If it was a close game, I'd have been more like responsible. But hey, we had the game.
Now was Coach Haley pissed that you got that flag?
Man, Coach Haley cool. He was like, I like it. Let's go. I like it.
Yeah. Brandon, talk about some of the guys that you played with during that time. I know DJ was one of the big names during that time because you guys had a defense. And for us, watching the teams and watching teams evolve in Kansas City, we never knew how far we were away offensively until we got 15 here. Once we got 15, I remember talking to DJ one time, and DJ was like, this is when he was just being him. He was just came in rookie year, right? Alex Smith was a quarterback. And DJ said, man, he said, this kid from Texas Tech, he goes, this kid's different. I said, what do you mean? He said, bro, he makes our defense look bad, and he's running scout team offense. He goes, he'll be the quarterback next year. But like when you guys, like I said, what defensively back then were your biggest guys you played with and that you loved playing with the most here in Kansas City?
You know what? It's gonna sound cliche, but everybody. We had a lot of dogs at that time. You got to think. We had Dontarie Poe, who was a first round on the D-line. We had Glenn Dorsey, who was a first round on the D-line. Tyson Jackson was a number 3 overall pick on the D-line. We had Tomba and Justin Houston, who's killing the pass rushing. We got Derek Johnson as a linebacker. Then you got myself, Brandon Carr, Javier Arenas. Then you got Eric Bear. It's just like, it's full of like top draft picks, and we all pushed each other. It was no prima donnas. even our backups, like it was no kind of hierarchy where it's like, yo, I got drafted first round, you got drafted later rounds.
Right.
We were all a family. We hung together. Tomba used to throw like defensive dinners every Thursday, then go to his studio at his house.
Yeah.
Then we go out a night in town. It was just like one big family, man. So it's not even one person I can highlight. It's just like I literally miss and love every person that was on that defense because we pushed each other to be great. We had a standard. Right. So if one person was kind of slacking in practice, we wasn't too big or too bold to say, oh, I have a Pro Bowl, or I had a good game last week. No, we kept each other accountable. Like, yo, you need to step up. We have a standard that we're setting on this defense where everybody has to make a play. And if you look at that time, I mean, if you look at Tomba, I think he maybe broke the Chiefs sack record or something like that. DJ broke the tackles record. I'm leading Kansas City in passes defended. Eric Berry was just a monster. I'm pretty sure he broke some records out there. So at every line of defense, we had somebody to break a record there, right? And it wasn't just something that just happened just because. It was just because, like I said, we held each other accountable. And we was a family off the field, and that's what made it work on the field.
Of course, you know the one thing I remember the most too, Jamie, about that one defense he's talking about. Because remember that one Pro Bowl. Remember, we had 8 or 9 guys on the Pro Bowl, and everybody was on defense except for Jamal. Jamal was the only offensive guy, and then we had like 7 or 8 guys on defense.
Yeah, we taking our Pro Bowl picture and our whole defense there, literally. But man, it was like I said, and it could have been that previous years. It was just, sometimes the Pro Bowl is predicated off how many wins you have. If you have 4 or 5 win seasons, might not that many guys make it.
Right.
But that year when we made the playoffs, it was just our talent was on display. Like we've been balling like that for years and years back to back, you know, but we got our just due, and we all had fun in the Pro Bowl, celebrated with our families in Hawaii, man. It was a great time for sure.
And so B-Flow, did you feel, and from what I understand, you were calling the first Super Bowl in Miami, which is close to home for you, and you was calling it for someone, right? And did you feel, as you should, that was your Super Bowl too? Like you were like, I know DJ's gonna be like, hey, with the organization, this is kind of mine too, man. This is mine too.
I did, man. It was crazy because I was calling the game. I wanted to be on the field. I was looking like, what the hell was wrong with 15 parents not having him 5 years earlier? Like, why can't we experience 15?
Yeah.
It was just all these feelings in one, man. And it was just looking at Coach Reed, and I was like, man, I'm so happy for that guy because he's literally the best leader, best coach that I ever been around. He has a unique twist to his coaching style where he wants every player to be them unique selves because that's what makes them great. But he still has this team aspect where it's like, don't get outside the team and think you're bigger than the team as well. And we do things a certain way here, right? And it's almost like he's a player's coach, but don't think he's a player's coach because he's a stickler too. Where it's like perfect. It's like a perfect, like he got it down and it works. So to see him get over the hump, man, and now getting his just due, and he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm just now hoping that he catches Belichick with those rings where he is the greatest at the end of the day.
Yeah, right. B-Flow, for me and the work that I did, with different regimes and different coaches and stuff coming through the organization, right? For me, the first guy that really got it was Coach Reed and Veach. Like when they were like trying to figure out like what I did, I remember talking to Veach one time and he had asked me, what is it that you do exactly? He was the first one to really ask, like, tell me what you do for the guys off the field. And when I sat down and I broke it down and said, here's what I do, here's what I help them, DMV stuff, get their car tags, do this kind of stuff. He was like, this is great. You can be an extension of our player engagement and this, and this, but they got it. They understood. And you could just tell everything inside the building was just different, bro. Everybody had a job. Everybody had a responsibility, but they understood what I did. It was like, okay, you're a small part of this, but we're going to utilize this and welcome you with open arms. So Reed and Veach, man, have been awesome for me, but it's just so much fun to watch the success that they're having with this team right now.
That's the thing. They're not the no fun police, or it's like whatever is working for guys. Let me not come in and say it's a new regime. I don't care what y'all do. Because some coaching staff do that. Right. Where it's like, I don't care what y'all got going on. I feel like it's a distraction. I don't care if you guys love it. Right. But no, man, he talks to every, I wouldn't even say captain because he pulls maybe 3 to 4 people out of each position group, even if you're not a quote unquote captain, just to hear different voices of opinion on what you think should be going on around here. How can it be better? Whether it's the food quality, whether it's, do you like the uniforms we wearing? He just want everybody to be comfortable, man. And it's like, as a player, if you hate getting up and coming to work every day, I know some people will say, hey, you get paid millions of dollars, like you should never feel like you don't want to go to work. But sometimes the locker room is just so stiff, and like it's just such an aura at work where you're like, yo, I do not feel like going to this chaos, because some locker rooms are dysfunctional. But with Andy Reid, I just know like it has to be in his blueprint of how to win, where no, we're going to want people to come to work every day. So when I was there, like everybody's there on their off day, everybody's getting there early. Everybody wants to be in the building more than, not saying we don't want to be with our families at home, but no, we want to be in the building. We want to get better. Winning is contagious. So he created a nice atmosphere over there, and it's not going anywhere no time soon.
No. And so Flo, with that being said, you're one of, the game has transcended so much as far as the wide receivers, and now they do all these 7-on-7 camps, and it's really focused on the wide receivers. But you're a guy that your game transcends. You could play out, you could play in with there was no dip. So with that being said, how much fun would have been playing for Spags? Because he would have had you blitzing and you could come off that edge. I know you could too.
For sure, bro. He would have flow coming off the edge.
Man, I was ahead of my time. I would have been in the Hall of Fame playing this Spags system, man. Not saying that it's easy, but it just fits me. It fits my game, right? Because yes, I can play on the outside, but like you said, I love playing on the inside. I love blitzing. I love hitting. I love tackling. I love getting in run gaps. So to be honest with you, when you're just playing corner, the game can kind of get boring. When you don't get passes your way, receivers running you off. But in Spags' system, you can see how he used McDuffie. It's just like, yo, I'm going to keep you in the mix of everything. You're going to blitz a lot. We're going to drop you in coverage. We're going to let you steal some passes, some trap coverage. Like, I would have loved to play in his system. And I was a fan of his since he was in New York. And like, just the corners he had over there with Webster and all those guys that played for LSU that I know, they always spoke highly of him. And I talk to him from time to time. He welcomes me in when I come to the Chiefs facility as if I did play for him. So it's just awesome. Like, come on. And like, look what kind of coaches and system they have in place, where every time Spags see me, I always say, hey, Spags, I'm Flo. Like, I know who you are, man. We talk about I'm not that old. I'm like, I just don't know if you remember me. But he's that guy where he genuinely cares about former players that was there, because he know we helped build, the organization into what it is today.
But I think that's the biggest thing, though, Brandon, is the guys today that are there. Those guys are thankful. They bring up the Brandon Flowers, they bring up the Derek Johnsons, and the guys who laid that foundation to really start changing that culture from that losing culture they had before to winning the way you guys were. And I think those guys appreciate the foundation you guys laid, because that's where all this started, was back when you guys defensively started taking games over. We didn't have the offense to really compete where we wanted to, but defensively, man, Flo, you guys were shutting people down, holding people to 13 points, 16 points, 13 points. You guys definitely laid the foundation for these kids now. But let me ask you a question. I know you watch a lot of their games right now. Tell me what you thought of last year, because early on it was all about Mahomes and Kelsey and the offense. But as the year progressed, tell me what you kind of saw out of McDuffie and Snead last year as they started getting down there, because there's a lot of stuff I saw, but I want to hear from you what you saw out of McDuffie and Snead down the stretch.
No, this is the thing. I get football, right? And McDuffie and Snead, they've been dogs. They've been can cover, but when you have guys like Mahomes that put up points consistently, teams are always playing from behind, right? So sometimes you even want to say, hey, I give up that 5-yard catch. Hey, I might give up that 7-yard catch. Like, we're going to make you drive all the way down the field. About time you get past the 50 to the 40, like, then we'll start honing down. Now you don't waste 5 minutes off the clock. And then we're going to have to let you punt or whatever. That's just like the psyche of football, right? And people thought like, hey, this defense is just average. They're okay. But then it's like something clicked where it's like, he can score points and we still not go give up anything. Let's get more stingy. And once they start getting more stingy and start seeing that they can create turnovers and get the ball back to Mahomes and start getting him more possessions, it almost got like it's almost like they got a high off of it. Like, yo, like we here now. Like, and once analysts start seeing how great they were, it's not like they start reading the newspaper and it just clicked saying, "Hey, we have arrived." It was just like you can see, like, "Hey, I like this attention we getting." Now it isn't about Kelsey and Mahomes. Now they starting to say this defense is great. They starting off with that now, even though Mahomes is the best quarterback in football, Kelsey is the best tight end ever played a game. But now they're leading with the defense. So I love to see both sides get their just due, man. And the Chiefs are still undefeated right now and still haven't played their best ball. And it's crazy to see when they put everything together, how everything's going to look. When everybody gets back from injury, you know, it's all about late November, December, when you get everybody healthy and you go into the playoffs, how hot and how much your offense and defense can click. So I'm excited to see.
Hey, Flo, right now, I'd put you right now in the slot tonight. Nah, I'd line you up.
Not right now.
No, I'll give you this week, Flo, and I'll put you out there on Sunday against the Raiders because you ball out against the Raiders.
Against the Raiders for sure. I got some in me that hate the Raiders. Only against the Raiders, though. Against anybody else, I can't even tell you the last time I ran full speed, so that would be a good thing. So. For the Raiders, I got you.
And then Flo, you had, if I'm correct, your first 2 interceptions were against Brett Favre, and you took one of them back for a touchdown against the Jets. And you took one of them back,
like 90 yards.
You keep that ball?
Oh man, it's in the memorabilia room. Like this is what I'm going. Oh, my memorabilia room is junky because I was filming something before.
No worries. I
want to show. No, I got to show you.
Let's
guys.
go. Let's go.
No, you're good, bro.
No podcast. I'm sorry.
No. Let's go.
I gotta take you in here
because I'm like,
because I was filming the show.
Hey, don't worry, no worries.
T.O., you got
to have that ball, man.
So I have all my interception balls
man,
right here.
Look at this,
and it goes all the way across, and then I got all my.
Oh yes,
man! Look at that.
Sick.
I love that. I love
that.
So
one of these balls is the Brett Favre balls. If you can see the football down here, one of them is so. Yeah, that's why I got all my balls and everything. Yeah, so
when you took that back to the house, it was special, right?
Oh man, it's Brett Favre, and we on the road in New York. Like it was the most surreal feeling that you could possibly have. You know, from a cornerback who loves the game and respects the game and know who Brett Favre is and know how hard it is. Like even though he's a gunslinger, like he's still a smart guy. Right. So for you to be able to pick a ball off while they're in the red zone in the fourth quarter, run 90-something yards to go up on the road, nothing better. What?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And so one more question, before. So in your career, who was the guy on Saturday nights you couldn't wait to go up against because he was that good? You're like, I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna lock it down. I'm locked in. I get to the field a little bit earlier, and you got your shit going.
It was a couple of them, right? It's not just one guy. So the first one on the list is Randy Moss because that was my first regular season game when he was in New England.
Right.
And even though they said, "Flo, you staying away from Randy Moss," we put Patrick 13 on Randy Moss. Don't you line up on him your first NFL game? Like, don't you do it. I was like, man, Bill Belichick will find a way for Randy to come over here. And I'm not scared, but I just want to know how fast is he, right? Like, you see him on TV, I was like, I wonder how fast he is. But, like, that kept me up that Saturday night. I'm going to really press him. Like, let's see. But then my next one was Steve Smith, just because I was more excited, right? Because we have the same similar style game.
Sure.
He a bulldog on the field. He likes contact. He likes to wrestle. And I'm the same way. And I was like, ooh, I was going to push up in the room like, I can't wait. Like, we finna go at it. Like, let's go. I was real hyped about Steve Smith, Ocho Cinco, because I knew how much he talks. Like, I couldn't wait to, like, talk trash with him during the game. And when our team was in warm-ups, we was, like, stretching and everything. And, you know, he's from Miami, and they don't got to stretch before they run. Like, they just athletes out in Miami. Yeah. So while we're stretching, he's just walking down our stretch line, just talking smack. And I get up, and I'm walking to go talk smack. But Romeo Cannell like, hey, slow, go back. Like, nah, I'm like, nah, this is what I've been waiting on. I didn't sleep last night. I knew he was going to do this. He was my third, and my last one was Deshaun Jackson, just because he was so fast. And when you watch him on film, he always just celebrating before he get to the end zone and backpedaling and showing up DBs. And I was just like, nah, he ain't doing that on me. I can't wait to go play in Philly. Like, I got a problem with DJ. But it was just because how explosive and how good he was. Like, all the guys that was great at their craft, like it wasn't more. I think Randy Moss was the only one that I was like nervous about because it was my first NFL game and I didn't know how fast he was. But everybody else, I was like excited. That's why I didn't sleep the night before.
That to me, that was the most exciting thing about watching you play, Brandon. Is like every time you and I told Jamie, I said, I don't care if it was a lineman, if it was a tight end, a fullback, a receiver, whatever. You was in the mix of it. You wanted to mix it up. If it was a run play, because you see some corners, they say, oh, this corner can't tackle. That wasn't Brandon Flowers, man. To watch you just take on all comers, man. And
he was a dog.
Come up and take linemen on and come up. I'm like, man, floating back down from anybody, bro. I don't care who it was, how big you were. You never back down from anybody, bro. So it's always just such a pleasure to watch you play, man.
I appreciate that. That just stemmed from, man, my Delray Beach, Florida roots, man. That's how it is in football down here. Like, you don't back down from anything. They won't let you back down from anything.
No.
And plus, I was an undersized guy anyway, so I always had to feel like I had to show everybody how tough I was, So that just stuck with me all the way throughout the league.
Of course, Brandon. I'm telling. Have you tell a story to Jamie really quick because I know you love it. You always fun in the locker room and always fun with the teammates. Tell Jamie about that one Halloween game when we had to go. Remember, we had to go get all those masks that you wanted to have for all the DBs. Tell Jamie about that story.
Photo.
So, so it's like, it's Halloween. And I'm like, you know what'd be dope if we get some scream masks, man. Like, we need some scream masks. Like, we got to win this game. We putting on the scream mask. We running on the field. Man, we just so happen to win the game. I'm looking around like, get the scream mask, get the scream mask. We go out, we put it on. And I still got the pictures. It's in my memorabilia room as well, where I got the pictures and we running around the field, the fans, they still in the stadium going crazy. If I'm not mistaken, did we play San Diego that week?
Yeah, it was a Monday night game.
Yeah.
It was a Monday night game, yes.
Like, it was, the game was live. I mean, the game was good. It was loud. The fans were still in the stadium. We ran all the way across the field in our scream mask. It was almost like a concert, and we was performing that night after the game.
Yeah, Jamie, all the DBs with the screen mask.
I know, it's an iconic picture,
man.
It's an iconic picture.
Yeah.
Brandon, again, man, thank you so much for being on tonight. There's a couple more things that Jamie and I were kind of talking about earlier that I want to get your feedback on. So right now, like I said, you're a guy that's still dialed in. You watch the game and the college game and the NFL game. Tell me your thoughts right now, bro, on all this craziness we're seeing with all this NIL and everything running through college right now. How has that changed the dynamics of college football? And what are your thoughts just on all this NIL stuff right now?
I got mixed emotions about it, right? I love it because players are getting their just due where they should get paid in college, because when I was at Virginia Tech, we was going to BCS Bowls every year, bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars for the program. We building dorms and cafeterias and new weight rooms and indoor facilities from the games we won, when a lot of players didn't even really have nothing to eat at night.
That's crazy, man.
So I'm glad that players are finally getting, paid. I like the way that it leveled out, the playing field for college programs, where when Alabama was and Georgia was getting all the players, because they'll tell the recruits, hey, you come here, you'll win a ring within 4 years.
Right.
Now recruits like, we kind of want to go where the money is.
Right, yeah, sure.
So now it's making college football that much better because there's no powerhouses. There's no team that you can say in college right now that's a clear-cut favorite. We would have thought it was Texas until we just seen what Georgia did to them, right? And Alabama beat Georgia, so anybody can get beat any week now. I think this is going to be the most exciting year of college football because of that, with the 12-team playoffs. But the only thing that I hope that these schools are doing is teaching these kids about financial literacy, right? Like, just don't get your bag and blow it thinking you go to the league and get more money. Right. That's the reason a lot of NFL players go broke, because they have a spending habit. And when that time comes, you're not getting money anymore, whether you get hurt, you get cut, whatever it is, and you didn't save for a rainy day, that's why a lot of players go bankrupt. So for these college guys, I just hope they're getting like I said, the financial literacy aspect about it, when it comes to, hey, get your money and save it just in case you don't go to the NFL. Right. Now you can go buy a home, and that can be an asset you have, or just have a functioning vehicle to get to your job, right, because of the games you won. Because I've seen players win national championships and was a key part of a national championship, and once they got out of college and they didn't go to the league, it was just like, what do I have now? I go back home with a degree, right, but I don't have any money to get a home. I got to move back in with my parents. Like, if I don't come from a family that can just buy me a vehicle, like, how do I get to work? So, I just hope these players are just taking care of their money. I love NIL. I love what it's doing, man. Just leveling the playing field.
Right. The one thing I think I've seen too, Brandon, more so in the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years has been, it seems to me like the kids I'm seeing coming in the league now are a little bit smarter. And I think they're a little bit smarter with the financial literacy part of it. And I think they've got financial advisors that are a little bit more involved. Because I hear a lot of guys talk about, my financial advisor put me on a budget. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, okay, I don't care who you use, but use someone that's got you on a budget, that's planning your stuff out, and not just letting you have a free, reign and spending stuff. So I do see kids, to me, that seem like they're using people that are smarter, more financial advisors that are a little bit more with it. So it's good to see.
That made me feel better. That made me feel better for sure, because it's a lot of pressure on, like, football players in the NFL when you're getting tugged on, not just by you spending your money, by family, and your family needs this and that. So I couldn't imagine how it is from a kid that just left high school and just leaving their friends, right? So hopefully, like you said, they have those mentors and advisors early who can guide them through those, tough no's.
Right, right.
So speaking of college, how often do you get back to Blacksburg?
I usually go every year. This is actually the first year I haven't been back because I'm coaching my son's football team and they play on weekends. But I usually get back every year. So now that I haven't been back now, if I can't get back during the season, I'll definitely be back in the spring.
And what's he played D-back like daddy?
Yeah, he played a little bit. He's only 5.
Okay.
Yeah. He plays a little bit of everything.
Now you got 2 kids, right? You got your boy,
girl,
you got your
girl and boy.
Yep, girl and boy. So tell me a little bit about. I've been keeping up with you on IG. I check it all out. Tell me a little bit about their modeling and stuff. I've been seeing them up on the wall on the runway doing their thing, man.
Yeah, you know what? They do their thing, man. They model for Nike, Jordan, Converse, Hurley every year. It's usually in New York. It was in Hollywood, California this year. Their lane is like modeling. My nephew, he's in like these nationwide Golden Corrals commercials. So they're all playing sports, but the lane might be the big lights in front of the TV for that generation of my family. We still pushing Bane to go ahead and be that athlete, that 2-star athlete with baseball and football, but if that don't work, he definitely got modeling under his belt.
Because you all pretty.
What's that?
I said you guys all pretty.
Nah, he get it from his mom. That's who he get it from.
But Brandon, like I said, man, I can't thank you enough, man, for coming on and just being a part of the Love You Bro podcast, man. It was so good to see you come back when you retired, as a Chief and came back. Jessica and I got a chance to see you. Just to let you know, look, we did get married last Friday, but
congrats.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. We got married last Friday, and then what we're doing is we're going to do a big reception in the springtime so I can invite my players and some of my guys back to come back and celebrate with us. So we're looking forward to doing back, and you'll have the invite to come out, man. If Mom and Pop want to come out, I'd love to see him, man. I'd love to see him.
I'll be there for sure, man. And like I said, I'll be in town in a couple of weeks, so we definitely got to get up, get dinner, get something. Everybody will be back, man. Yeah. So The crew will be back. All the boys will be back. So we definitely looking forward to saying what's up.
Yeah, no. So when you get back in town, I'm gonna get a hold of you and DJ. I'm gonna get you guys to sign on the Love You, Bro. And then when you come in, I'm gonna have some T-shirts and stuff for you, man. Just to say thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you, B-Flow. Appreciate you, fam.
Oh man, thanks for having me, man. You guys got a dope show, man. Anytime you need me back on, let me know.
I appreciate it, man. I love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
All right,
man. Love, bro.
Yes, sir.
Always. Thanks, 2-4.